Hi everyone, it's 216 Rock Forever. It is September 6th, 2012 at 10:32 p.m. So, I told you in my last video, in my introduction, I would be making a video on writing tips and styles, because you really can't make a video on how to write. And I hate it when teachers think that they can teach you writing, because they really can't. You know how to write from within. They can give you tips and help, but nobody can teach you how to write. Writing comes from within. So, anyway, I don't want to do it as my job, but I want to be a writer when I grow up for my own fun. I love writing, but I don't like writing the stupid, crappy homework essays. Those are annoying. I like writing poetry and stories, and just observing what's around me, and turning them into poems and stuff. Sometimes I make poems into lyrics, but that almost never happens because I'm terrible at it. But I'm, might I say, a very good poet. I don't give myself a lot of credit normally, but I do give myself credit with poetry because I am good. I'm not bragging, just, I think I'm good. So, I'm not going to be reading you any poetry because that's stupid. Because I don't think you want to hear that. But I will be just giving you tips and pointers on writing, so. Okay. First, with poems. Everyone thinks that poems have to rhyme. And not everyone, but most people who write poetry or learn about poetry, or when you're in elementary school, you think and you learn poems have to rhyme. That's not true. Almost most good poems don't rhyme. A lot of good poets don't rhyme. I mean, Shel Silverstein's great, and so is Dr. Seuss, but a lot of good poets don't rhyme. So, alright, what I do normally is I make stanzas or verses. And what that is you would make 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line. They would be relatively short, they are not full sentences, and they do not rhyme. Sometimes they can, but normally they do not rhyme. But you would have 4. And you want to keep it consistent with 4. I want to keep that consistent. By the way, this is my lovely notebook. Should be using my crappy one for this, but I'm in a monogamous relationship with it. I know this sounds really stupid, but whatever. You'll learn about me. I'm very silly. So when you write poetry, it does not have to rhyme. You make 1 line, 1 line, 1 line, 1 line. As many as you want. It could be 3, it could be 2, it could even be 1. It can be as many as you want. Also, a lot of poetry, it doesn't have to rhyme, but it has a pattern to it. It could be just that the sentences are all the same amount of lines, or they have the same amount of words, or it could even be just 4 haikus. Okay, they normally have a pattern, but you don't have to. Sometimes I don't even use patterns, and that's called free writing. Free writing has no pattern, it has no guideline, and it does not rhyme. It is just random sentences. But they end up making up sense, and they can make a good story. In fact, a lot of writers, they will, just authors, I mean, I don't know anyone's in particular, but I do know that a lot of writers, and I think, I'm pretty sure R.L. Tolkien does this, but they just make lines. And they write what they think, and then they form it into, they add verbs and nouns, adjectives, and they make it into sentences. And they do that. And that's a really good writing technique. Just writing down whatever you feel and making it into poetry. And remember, your poetry doesn't have to be good. If you just want to get out some steam, instead of using violence, I don't like violence. I can feel very violent though. But instead of fighting, I normally write. I would prefer playing my music instead, but if I'm in school and I'm pissed, I can't really write. I mean, I can't really play music because I can't play my guitar or my piano. Or if I had a piano. But, I write. Just silently in class while I'm supposed to be working on my homework, I write. I'm not afraid to tell that because my teachers probably already know. Because a lot of them don't like me. So, yeah, you don't really need to have any style in particular. You can do whatever you want. It's a very simple process. So yeah. Oh, and another thing, when you write poetry, you want to give it some sort of meaning. You want to give it emotion. Alright, if the writing is sad themed, you want to make sure you use lots of adjectives. Yeah. Make sure you use lots of adjectives. That really helps. It really, especially in poetry, it really helps giving the scenery, because one of the most important things in writing is you want to give the scenery. You want the reader or the critic or whatever to know what they're looking at, what they're reading. You want them to know what they're reading. So make sure you put lots of adjectives in. You don't need to put so many nouns. Just focus on the adjectives. That's, I think, one of the most important things in writing. But this is all a matter of opinion. I mean, anyone can write whatever they want. They can put whatever they want in. That's what's awesome about writing. There is no wrong thing. I mean, if you're doing an assignment, you want to do the guidelines, but there is no wrong way to write. It's based on within here. So, but with writing, particularly in poetry, make sure you make sure you tell the scenery, because it's just not going to work out if you don't. It makes the reader confused, and they end up not liking it. I don't like a lot of books where I can't tell the scenery. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but if I can't tell what I'm reading, why bother? Because then I won't understand the story, and it's a waste of time. So yeah. And with short stories, not much to say other than that. Although with short stories, a lot of it, you can just put lines in your poetry. What you can do is, if you don't like the way you formatted your poetry, don't get rid of it. Put the lines, rearrange them, and maybe add more adjectives and make it more sentence structure. But if you add more to it, it can make a great short story. And short stories can only be like a paragraph long. They don't have to be long. But they want to show an event in a time, place, and they want to show what the character is feeling. So, yeah, some of mine are just paragraph short, and some of them are 2 pages. I mean, it's really depends on how much emotion you put into this, and it's just a really good technique to take out your emotion in writing. And it sounds so cliche, but it's such a good technique. So yeah. And the main problem with writing I have, it took me forever to find a good writing website that was free. Good poetry website. And after months and years, it took me so long to find this one website. It's really good. It's supposed to go down soon, so I don't know how much longer. It was a rumor that it was supposed to go down. I really hope it doesn't. It's absolutely free. There is no, you do have to become a member, but it's absolutely no free. There is no payment whatsoever. It's called writerscafe.org. And it is so good. There are so many great people. I've met so many great friends online over there. And it's so nice. There is no criticism whatsoever. I mean, there's critics and you critique each other's work, but it's just so great. And I love it. It's like my favorite place to go. It's where I go to find my happy place. That or Congregate, which is a gaming website. I'm not going to go into that. But, yeah, it's such a good website. And if you're one of the people like me who really need to find a good website, I would really highly suggest that. It's absolutely free, and it is so great. But yeah, that's pretty much it. By the way, my videos won't be this long normally. I'm sorry, this is my first video, so I'm a little not sure how long it's supposed to be. But yeah, and always just make sure you have your sketchbook with you, because you never know when you're gonna write. You never know. It comes from the back of your head. You can't force writing. And, well, you can, but it won't be as good as you want it to be. So, yeah. Okay, so thanks for watching my first video. I hope it's good, and I hope they're going to get much better than this, because I plan to work on them. Yeah. So, thanks, everyone. Remember, Writers Cafe. Best poetry website I've ever seen. And I have looked.